Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Ryden Talks. I'm gonna just go ahead and jump into this as fast as I can. I haven't been doing YouTube videos lately because I've been camming and doing customs, and then I planned on doing this video a couple days ago, but then I ended up getting really sick, and I still don't feel very good, so if I'm kind of sluggish and cranky, it's only because I just don't feel very well. My head hurts. But I want to talk about some personal, like adult industry between, creating pornographic clips and doing camming and stuff. I want to give some tips with that. And I do want to say that this isn't going to be one of those things that if you are, I guess, if you're just starting out or if you're thinking about getting into porn, this isn't going to be a very helpful video for you because of the fact that, like, it's mostly for people who are already in the industry and trying to figure out how to make themselves better. So I do want to start out by saying that this isn't going to be one of those things where I spoon feed you information because I don't want to fucking deal with it. Um, so the first thing I'm going to say is you should come up with a cool porn name no matter what. Like, you should never use, like, a screen name type thing, like Candy Girl 69, like that doesn't work. And don't ever use like multiple names on different formats. Like if you have a my free cams profile under one name and then a like ManyVids profile under another, and then your Tumblr and Twitter are under two different names too, nobody's gonna see that consistency and find you on all four. Like if somebody has you on Twitter and they want to follow you on Tumblr, they would have no idea where to look for you because you're not under that name on Tumblr. Same with my free cams and ManyVids. It's something that's really important. You should always stay consistent and come up with a name that's really catchy without being something you stole from an anime or a video game or like something that's really overdone, like Mary Jane and like any form of like candy and whatever. Come up with. I always say that like when you were little, if you ever had like a name that you really wanted to be your name, you should definitely take that into consideration when like coming up with your porn name, and don't like make it something weird that like nobody's gonna understand or be able to like relate to, I guess, and like it's not gonna catch their eye. But don't make it something that's so like bland, like Anne. I can't even come up with bland names on the spot because it's just so boring. Um, but don't come up with something so bland or like, so over the top. Like something that's right in the middle that it's going to catch somebody's eye without being too crazy to remember. The next thing I want to touch on is advertising. In general, you should always advertise. There are so many like people who are in the industry that feel that they don't need to advertise and like think that people are just gonna flow in and give them money just because they said, "Oh, hey, my tits are on this site," or "My tits are on that site," or "Hey, I'm selling nudes through PayPal," which you should never do because PayPal has rules against that and you will lose your funds. I've even known people who were actually they were fined for it. And so you should never do that. Anyway, and they don't post any previews or anything like that. And I think that it's really important. Like, you don't even have to do anything like super crazy. You can censor your previews, whatever. I personally suggest that, it's all dependent on what you do. You could maybe censor them at the beginning, and then as time goes on, maybe not censor them so you build up that demand to see that. And then people get more excited about the videos. I think you should always build up demand for something instead of just handing it to people. Um, Anyway, I always suggest doing GIFs if you're doing videos. If you're doing camming, always post like a selfie or whatever, and like what your area looks like, and what your outfit looks like, and stuff like that, and what your makeup looks like, so people can know what they're coming in to see. And then that catches their eye, and then they see the link and see that you're on cam, and they're like, oh, I want to see the moving version of this person. Oh my god, I can hear their voice and stuff. That's so cool. So that's really important too. But for videos, I think doing GIFs without doing anything super revealing to like the money shot and stuff like that, I think that's really important. And you should always like try to do the best quality GIFs possible, which always brings it back to like always invest in a good camera and good lighting and stuff like that. For people who use Tumblr as their main advertisement format, like I do, I think you should always have a queue set up of like 5 different advertisements twice a day, so about 10 posts a day in 24 hours, mind you, not in like 12 or 6 or whatever. In a 24-hour span, have about 2 sets of 5 different advertisements from your content, if you're a content producer specifically, and have that loop 24/7, and then like have it go for a week or 2 weeks, and then change it and have 5 different ones, and so on and so forth. And that's only because it'll keep people who wouldn't necessarily get online when you're actively reblogging your own content. They can see that at a different time. So you don't have to actively be online 24/7 and reblogging stuff nonstop, but people will see the advertisements and know, and so you're more likely to make sales to people who you wouldn't even have seen otherwise. And this also goes to keeping your blog active. And I always think, that you should not just like post a blog that's entirely like your advertisements and porn, because while a lot of customers don't really care to like connect with models and stuff, some really do and like appreciate when they can see, selfies of us throughout the day, or like blogs from other bloggers of just normal stuff like photography and whatever. Like basically how I run my blog. I think it gives a more personal feel. So people want to follow you for that, and then they see your content and they're like, "Oh, all right, cool. She's a person, but she also does this, and I'm gonna treat her good, and I'm gonna give her lots of money. Yay!" So keep your blog active. Don't just bail for like 2 weeks and then say, "I wasn't here. I didn't make any sales. I don't know why. I'm gonna blame it on everybody else but myself." Because I've seen a lot of people do that. Believe me. Never ever ever give out your real name. And like I don't care how nice people like are to you. I don't care how like friendly a customer is with you. The moment they ask you for your real name, shut them the fuck down. Because the moment that happens, it's just sketchy. Like, why would they want to know? You guys aren't best friends by any means. They don't need to know. They only know you on like a business area. So it's creepy, and it could get you in a lot of trouble. They could be somebody who has bought your content or has saved photos off of your social media. And this is especially important if you're a closeted sex worker. They could save your pictures and your stuff, and then find out your real name, find your Facebook, and then send your pictures to your parents, and then it's not a good deal. Don't give anybody your real name. Never oversaturate your market, and I say this kind of with like a lenient feel to it, because I think that uh, everybody really uh, releases content and advertises at their own pace. And for some people, it works to post more, and for some people, it works less. However, I do think you should try to not oversaturate your market before seeing that that doesn't work and trying to oversaturate your market. For me, and for some people it doesn't work like this, but for me it works to put out like 1 to 2 videos a month, and then to do 2 or 3 cam shows a week. That's what works for me. For some people, it's every single night for a couple hours a night. Some people, it's a very, very often twice a day type of thing. It's a little bit more lenient on the cam side, and not so much on the video and the photo set creation time side. Because for me, it only works for 2 or 3 people, or 2 or 3 videos a month. And then I see other sex workers who are just as successful as myself, who put out a video every couple days, every week. And there is definitely a science to it that you have to figure out on your own. And it takes a while. Like, it's not just going to happen overnight. I've been in the industry for about 3.5 years, and I've been, busting my ass to find exactly what works for me. So it's going to take a while to find exactly what works for you. So give it some time. Don't get upset if like certain things don't work for you. But what I do want to say is, like, if you're shooting content and like you're like, "Oh, I really want to shoot content and I want to shoot like 3 or 4 videos today, or like 3 or 4 photo sets," don't put them all out at once, because then that's what people are always going to expect from you. And and people might get tired out from it. If you shoot like 4 to 5 videos a day, save back those other 4 videos and put out that 5th video, and then you could even like put the other one out later the next day, or like later in the week, or later in the month. It all depends on really what you want to do, but like just don't oversaturate it, because people will get tired of you. I want to point out for like specifically Twitter. It's a completely different advertising format. And honestly, I haven't really mastered it yet. I still don't really know how the fuck I have, 26,000 followers and, what are they doing? What do they want to see? I don't know. I've been in this industry for 3.5 years and I have no idea at this point. So honestly, it's another one of those things. Find out what works good for you. But once again, don't oversaturate your market. Don't be posting a bunch of free nudes like all day long, nonstop. Also, don't post pictures of other people without their permission just because you want to get some like faves and retweets. I've seen several cam girls do that, and it's really fucked up. And I don't know why they would do that. It's really obnoxious and annoying. Don't do that. Um, last thing I'm gonna say is don't expect other sex workers to like magically give you the secret to being successful because it's not gonna happen. Everybody figures out how to be successful at their own pace, and some people never end up being successful, and it might just be that they got in the industry at the wrong time of their lives, or they weren't doing something right in advertising or creating content or whatever. Um, and there are people who are, instant successes, and there are people who it takes a couple years for them to build it up. And so it's not just going to be an instant success for you, no matter what. Like the chances of it being an instant success for you is like 1 in a million. So you might as well just take it slow, figure out what works best for you, and don't get upset if you're not making crazy sales every single day, because you also have to keep in mind that sales differ by the time of the year. Like summer sucks. Uh, I should probably close this up because it's getting really, really long now. Um, Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any other things other than the obvious, how do I get into sex work? Whimsical, stupid question. You guys can ask it here. You can ask it on Tumblr, tweet me about it, whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching.